You're watching The Edward Fowler Show. Now, here's your host, Edward Fowler.
And a very good evening to everyone who is tuning in this evening live here on YouTube and, of course, on my audio sites. And I'm delighted to have on this particular guest. I was quite taken aback when I got an email from this person to say they were happy to come on this show, and it's a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to have on Jake Hager, formerly known as Jack Swagger, from WWE to AEW to the Bellator, even the NCAA as well back in the day. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Jake.
Hey, thank you so much. Let me just tell you that I was taken back when I got an email from the Edward Fowler sliding into my DMs on the Instagram. I was like, oh, I'm going to get a little Edward Fowler play.
Yeah. Well, of course, when I reached out to you by email, and then you then responded, and I reached out to you, but then I didn't hear nothing, so I thought, oh no, maybe I've said something which is high enough for you to come on. So I'm glad you did.
No, I'm very important. I have to make people wait at least 3 days before I can respond. You know, classic diva Mariah Carey stuff.
Yeah. But you're living the good life at the moment, though, I see, which is good to see.
Yeah. I'm currently at a pool party, but, you know, nothing stops. You know, we got to get Edward Fowler, get on his show. So.
Yeah.
Work hard, play hard, right?
Yeah, indeed. Work hard, play hard, do all that shabazz, and it's just great to have you on here. But the thing I wanted to know firstly is, like, when I reached out to you and then you saw the different links I sent you of different guests I've had on this show, did you check out any of them or even Google me before you responded back?
I definitely looked at the guests that you had on there. I should have done more research because you obviously seem like a shady character.
Oh, I see.
But I think the guests that have been on this show before me speaks for itself. So I was very happy to be on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for accepting. So let's talk to me about, you know, your past couple of months so far this year. I know you're coming over to England shortly for a great show in Blackpool at PCW UK, which sounds very exciting from your point of view.
I'm very excited. I think the UK is the #1 country for pro wrestling. You know, UK, Ireland, Scotland, all three of those countries embraced us. They really enjoy it. It's part of your guys' culture. And so when we come over there to wrestle, it's a different experience. It's a different wrestling show than it is in America because of the English fans. And so very excited to come over here. Truth be told, I love English women. So there you go. I said it. But PCW is a great promotion. I love Stephen Flutter. I look forward to coming to Blackpool, and I guess the hotels are cheap right now, so I'm gonna stay a while.
Yeah, that's a bonus. The hotels are cheaper. There's hot women as well. What more can you get?
What more could you ask for? I'm living the dream. You know, besides all the pain and suffering to my body, I'm living the dream.
Yeah, and we've got YouTube live comments as well. If you want to leave a comment, feel free to appear on the screen. And we've got one from Jamie saying, "Hey Eddie, what a guest this is." Exactly right. We bring you top-notch guests all the time. And what better way to have a real fighter in the house tonight? And I have to be careful because he's not far from Manchester when he comes over to PCW UK in Blackpool. So he could always come to my neighbourhood and teach me a lesson if I get out of line this evening.
That sounds like a very smart viewer right now.
Yeah. He knows all about you as well, I'm sure. But I mean, you know, what can the UK fans expect from you then? When you show up in Blackpool, you know, in May, what can they expect?
Well, you better expect to buy a purple hat, right? Because I like this hat.
You do.
Like, it's gonna be a great show. I've never worked for PCW before, and so when I come, I really try and give everyone the experience, the personal attention, and like 150% when it comes to the in-ring performance. I know that they wouldn't be bringing me over there if PCW didn't have a crew, a roster of stars ready to be made. So I'm ready, and I'm really looking forward to working with the young British talent and seeing where it goes. It's going to be a great show. PCW always performs, and I'm just gonna be a part of it now.
Indeed, you are. I'm going to show a picture of the flyer. It features you on it. Why not? Because you're the star here. So we'll just get that up on the screen. In the meantime, if you have any questions for Jake, feel free to leave in the live YouTube chat and we'll ask them. And I should ask you before we went live actually, if you had anything you can't say, but we'll just go and see what happens as we go along here. But that's the flyer right there on the screen. Spring Slam, May 3rd, Blackpool, England. You will see Jake Hager. And we've got a live picture on the screen of Jake with his lovely, I guess, lady and the dog.
This is Gizmo, the greatest dog on the planet.
Saying hello to our viewers here live on YouTube. I love it.
And this is the beautiful Tammy.
Hello, Tammy. Love it.
I told her to do that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Thank you, beautiful Tammy.
Yeah. Well, it's great. But yeah, you can see that on May 3rd. Be there or be squared in Blackpool, England to see Jake Hager being the monster he is. And I think he's just actually left the show, ladies and gentlemen, by mistake. He's done that before. So we will fix him. And you see two of me on the screen, which is not what you want for anybody here. So we're just going to fix that. He obviously pressed the one button. He's back. There he is. You're back. Welcome back.
I got new headphones. I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. the unfortunate viewers saw two of me for a split second there. Like, oh, that's enough to put anybody off.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I was just saying that why you disappeared for a moment. They saw a double me on the on the YouTube, and I think that's enough to put anybody off seeing two of me.
No, one of you scary enough.
Yeah, exactly. Has there been, I guess, because you've had a great career in pro wrestling and in the mixed martial arts world, has there only been any challenges for you over the years? Because you've had a very successful in both crossovers you've done.
Oh, I mean, like I know that I'm one of the great ones, and I know I make it look easy, but there are challenges on every step of the way. For me in WWE, the biggest challenge was handling the backstage politics and standing up for yourself, pitching storylines. If I would have done a better job at that, I feel like my career would have been better there. And then when it comes to MMA, I think the biggest challenge with that is being all in. Like, you have to have your back against the wall. You have to smell blood. You have to train like that every single day. And if you're not training like that for an MMA fight, you're going to go in the cage and get hurt. And so keeping that level of attitude, violence inside yourself, and it's just, I don't know if it's even violence, but like, you want a certain level, you want a certain standard for yourself. And so it's very hard to be consistent like that at that level. Like, not everybody can do it. I'm not saying I'm doing it, but that was a big challenge, staying consistent and working hard, and really burning the fat off of your soul. I feel like training for MMA really helped me in life personally, just because I had previously been on the road traveling for 10 years, doing entertainment, late nights, lots of travel, not being home. And then with MMA, I got to get back to who Jake Hager is, who I grew up as, who got to the WWE, who was an All-American, who has wrestled since he was age 5 in one of the toughest states in America. And so it's easy sometimes to lose sight of certain things when you're on a journey. And so that always makes it hard. And then, like, it's nice to feel that like I came back full circle and like, yeah, this is who I am and I know who I am from here on out.
Yeah, you are a total kick-ass and badass in both worlds.
Thank you. Well, look, man, when you're chasing a dream, it's the long road, it's a
Mm,
long way to the top, and so you're going to come across many obstacles, and it's going to be easy to um, change who you are to accomplish those goals. But you, it's a long road, and everyone can do it. It's tough for sure,
it
and you
is,
just got to be
it is,
ready.
it's tough, but you know, if you have a lot of dedication, if you want to put your whole life to it, then the success will eventually come, big or small, of those successes. And it's like my channel. I've been here for 6 years now, and it's slowly growing. You know, it's just got to be, committed to it, and it will eventually go in the right direction. That's why I got you on here tonight.
I think that's a great example. Like just slow progress, see the finish line. Sometimes people quit when they're right in front of the finish line. You always got to see the finish line. And like with you and growing this amazing show, it could be slow at times, and then all of a sudden it explodes, and but it's organic and it's what you want to do. So to anybody out there, do what you want to do, and you'll never feel like you're working.
Exactly. Not going to say it better than myself. I know you had a great WrestleMania moments in your time in WWE. As we call it, it's WrestleMania next
Who,
weekend.
me? No,
Yeah.
we. Please.
Yeah, yes. Well,
Anyways,
you did, and I mean, taking us back, was there a particular moment in time in front of WrestleMania fans that stood out to you the most? Because I know you got in the ring with Steve Austin at one point, with when you were accompanying Michael Cole at WrestleMania, and you know what a moment that was in itself. But of course, you've had other moments with your good friend at the time, Cesaro, as well.
oh man, I think that's a great question. So my first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 24 in Houston. I think I was like a lumberjack in a pre-match for that. And after that and being in front of that crowd, it was dude, I was addicted. It really is something special, WrestleMania. It will go down in Americana history. A lot of people will think that my favorite WrestleMania moment was Money in the Bank in Phoenix, which that's up there. And then I'll also put wrestling Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship at 29 in front of the greatest president in American history, Donald Trump. He was there ringside. And, he may have got a couple ideas from me and Dutch's We the People gimmick. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
yeah,
But, anyways, um, and then, of course, you mentioned Steve Austin. That came up on my Instagram later when he almost ran me off of the entranceway.
yeah.
I told myself, like, I wanted it to look as like close as possible. I waited until the last second to jump out of the way of that four-wheeler. I was willing to risk an injury and jump too late in order to make that. And
Love it.
I thought it was awesome, and like being in the ring was stone cold. Like what at WrestleMania, taking a stunner from him. Like, I mean, if that's not on your bucket list, you're not a wrestling fan.
Exactly.
When I jumped out of the way of the four wheeler on the entranceway, I jumped right into a girl who was videotaping me, and her phone just splattered. Like, I mean, the battery came out, the back came off. This was 2014, so there was more parts back then.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. And I look up at her, I go, "Don't worry, I'm okay."
Did you offer to pay for a new phone?
Uh, Not yet, but maybe after she sees this interview, she.
Oh, again, he's disconnected us again. Technology. We love technology here on the show, so we will get him back in a moment. You realise like, oh shoot, I pressed the wrong button again. Here he's back. It's your
Um,
headphones. So you got Encore button on your headphone. I
it,
love it.
well, look, I got this cauliflower ear, and
Oh yeah.
so headphones don't really stick into it too much, so maybe I'll just take it out. Um, but my all-time favorite WrestleMania moment is with Cesaro. It was Louisiana. It It was the 4-way tag elimination match, and it came down to me and Cesaro versus the Usos, and this is my idea in the match. I was like, I want to have a war cry, because when they say "Oos," oh, that was their war cry, and so we had our people, and so like when it broke down to just us two, go back and watch that WrestleMania. Go back and watch the reactions from that. Uso was so loud. I mean, they were over back then, and they're even more over now. But that was my favorite moment. And even though we lost the match or whatever, the fact that I got to do that war cry at WrestleMania and do "We the People," tears in my eyes.
Absolutely. And I mean, the We the People movement is something else, because even though, it was so popular with yourself, and then Cesaro came on board, and that went to a whole new level. Even after you guys left the WWE, I went to an indie show back in 9 years ago now, and it had Pete Dunne, who was wrestling on this indie show, and the Mancunian fans, because he had I wouldn't say, he had similar hair to yourself, and the Mancunian fans were chanting to him, including me. We all chanted, saying, "Cheap Jack Swagger." We were chanting at him during his match. So you are global.
I love it. I love it. I mean, if you remember the first episode of AEW, when I came running in, they went off the air with an entire crowd of 14,000 people chanting "We the People."
Yeah.
That was 2019, and "We the People" hadn't been on TV since 2015.
Exactly.
And I firmly believe if we brought it back right now, any promotion, it would be to the roof. Like, I'm begging Dutch to unretire right now.
I know, because it'd be, again, you're like a huge pop. You're a main event caliber wrestler, and "We the People" is probably one of the best movements to happen in pro wrestling.
Oh, thank you, my friend. It was. I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it, and honestly, I believe the same things it stands for. But you know what's cool about "We the People" is like it first started out with Dutch going out there and trying to insult everyone and trying to be controversial. Not trying, we were controversial. It was on all the big media outlets when it came out, so it was a big thing. And it was funny because we would go do live events, and he would cut these promos before our matches, and they would boo him constantly during the match. But at the end of the promo, when it came time for him to say "We the People," they all stood up and they all said it. And so it was like, wow, we would go into the back and like, Dutch, you said this, and this about this town, but they still stood up and said "We the People."
Yeah.
So we were like we knew it was big. WWE didn't know how big it was, but like the really cool thing about it is like it started as like this political movement that was going on in society at the time, to the fans of pro wrestling taking "We the People" and making it their own. They completely changed the meaning of it. It doesn't stand for that old political movement anymore. This is about people, and this is theirs. Like, I don't know people, it's the fans. The fans, and I mean that's one of the really cool things about pro wrestling is how that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't disagree with that at all. And then, of course, you were saying you guys were bad guys going to towns in Zeb Coulter, as his name was in WWE. Of course, we were named Dutch Mantel. Obviously, he was your mouthpiece, and he was saying all these awful things wherever you guys went. Most of it was obviously not true, and obviously, just want to get a reaction out of the fans, which you guys certainly did.
No. It was all true. Everything he said was true. Everything he said was 100% true. Stand on business.
Including what you said about Manchester as well. Was that true?
What did he say about Manchester?
I can't remember. But I can't remember what he actually said, but I know he said some interesting things about England and about the UK, which most of it was not true. Maybe a bit of a twisted truth.
I'm never gonna call Dutch Mantel a liar, so I'm gonna have to die on this hill, I think.
That's fine. But But I mean, when you get to hear yourself say "We the People" in 2019, when you were on AEW, on national TV, on TNT, this new company, this new vibe which came in at the time, it was something fresh, which we've not seen on that channel since 2001. Did it felt quite new and a new challenge for yourself after being in a of course in WWE before that and knowing what the bubble is in WWE compared to this fresher and interesting concept of a company, AEW?
Man, great question again. When AEW started, it was a different company. It was smaller, it was a better run, and it really did bring a new love out of me for pro wrestling because um, I was able to contribute to what I was doing on TV. I was able to say, hey, this is an idea that I would like to do. This is a storyline that I would like to go. And we were able to have these conversations. They're not like I was able to do everything I wanted to do, but you were able to have the conversation without sitting in a hallway and waiting for 5 hours just to have 5 minutes with someone before TV. It's just it was a cool environment. Obviously, that's all changed because Tony has mismanaged everything. Um, but at the beginning, I was so happy. I was like, man, this is like my work with the inner circle is some of my favorite stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In my wrestling career, I'm very proud of it. Very proud of the Stadium Stampede 1 and 2. Very proud of Blood and Guts. Um, just very proud of like we were on TV when nobody was in the stands, and
Yeah,
we were putting out good stuff.
he was.
Um, and so it was, very cool. I love working with Chris. He stood up for me. He got me the job there at AEW, and I will never forget that. And I think he is the GOAT, whether or not he got me that job at AEW. He was just constantly reinventing himself. So it was cool to work there until it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Can't disagree with that. Of course, when you got to AEW, I felt I saw a different side of you. I thought that this is a more of
Yeah,
where you can have more fun as Jake
yeah,
Hager, this
yeah.
guy. Because of course, not many of us outside of the US knew what Jake Hager was. Of course, we knew you as Jack Swagger, but we didn't really know what you were as Jake Hager, and the whole world got to see you more as what Jake Hager is.
Absolutely, because like at WWE, you're very worried. It's an audience of one. At least it was when I was there, and so you want to. I don't know, like you don't want to go too far. Sometimes I feel like because like you don't want them to like put the thumb on you and then you're shuffled away. When I was working with Chris in the inner circle, dude, I had no worries about them putting a thumb on us. And
Yeah,
so like I could really like be creative. I could like explore this personality. Yes, I'm an MMA fighter that's undefeated, but I am also very funny and I can be like fucking silly.
yeah,
And like it's not always good TV when you're always playing the ha ha tough guy. You got to be vulnerable. You got to have emotion and you got to have humor. And it was a different side of me for sure.
and I think that was, I think maybe your best side. Maybe
Thank you.
I think you went to another level with that whole role you portrayed as Jake Hager on AEW TV, and I have to say now you're gonna not gonna like me for this because so I'm going prepared now because
Listen,
it'll
I
be a bit
liked you
awkward for me.
anyways.
But a few years ago, I mentioned some things about Chris Jericho on this show, which I guess he and maybe yourself will not agree with. I said some things like, he's using Sammy. I think Sammy should break out instead of being his
Uh,
sidekick. I felt that he was using you guys from keeping you away from your full potentials, from getting great opportunities for the World Championships in AEW. I mentioned all of this. I even mentioned that maybe he should retire. Let the young guys take it to the next level. But those are things I said in the past. Of course, he is, as you said, the GOAT, and I'm not going to disagree with that because I think he is one of the GOATs in pro wrestling. He's also the creator who also likes to reinvent things and keep it, fresh with like the champion, as he used to go by at one point as well, and the demo
yeah,
god. as well.
Yeah, like, and it was no longer the list. He
Yes.
just made the list. It was now the lexicon of Les Champions.
Yeah.
You know, he gave me great advice once because I'm very like static. I'm very much in my routine. I want to do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you have a chance to reinvent yourself, take it, take it. And so, I could see your point on what you were saying, and like you don't have to back those comments back just because I'm on here. But I would never have been there if he never would have got me the job. So, like to say that he took anything from me is silly. Um, and it's a funny thing, like becoming the top star. Like Sammy Guevara is a main event star. He's going to be a mainstay in pro wrestling. But you got to be ready. You got to have your character. Not only that, you have to have your character. You have to have the backstage backing. So where, like, I mean, how many times did Sammy Guevara switch from babyface to heel in a 2-year period? Like 6 times. And so, like, you gotta, like, in a way, when you're with Jericho, it helps because you know that you got the stroke from the backstage. Like, this is how it's going to be. And then when you go off on your own, Tony fucks shit up. He doesn't know how to write a storyline. He knows how to introduce characters. He knows how to make a big surprise entrance, but he can't write long term. And that's what's really suffering about AEW is that he can't write like long term. He won't let anyone else write. And so he brings all these stars in, and then 3 months later, it's just kind of like, oh, what's his face? He's part of the Young Bucks now, I guess. And so, like, to put that on Jericho, I think is unfair because you have to be ready and you have to have the backing. And Sammy, when he went away from us, maybe he wasn't ready, but he definitely didn't have the backing at the same time, which proved by all the babyface and heel switches. And so, dude, it's a lot. It's not the best players play. It's the favorite players play, which I hate.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I even was very critical of Tony Khan on his channel when it first launched as well, because I said to many different people on the show that there's too many talent on AEW. I truly believe there is too much talent on
I went
AEW.
to a show. I went to one of the shows in New York, and he had 180 talent backstage.
Wow.
180.
How many was the average at WWE? So we got 180 at AEW.
The total number of the entire roster of the TV traveling talent was 80. And they had Raw, SmackDown, ECW, 80 wrestlers across the entire roster. And this dumbass had 180 wrestlers at one show.
Did they all get used on that one show? Or
no, you can't.
Yeah.
You don't have enough time. You have at that show maybe we filmed 5 hours of content at the most, maybe 4 hours.
Yeah.
So it was just silly, and I don't know why. Yeah. But also I'm jaded and I'm enjoying blasting Tony Khan.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And if that didn't happen, I would not be speaking to you on this show, because if I reached out to AEW to get someone on the show, I got declined because of my numbers. So this wouldn't have happened if you didn't speak out of your true feelings about AEW and Tony Khan. So, but I hope that with your comments which you've made, hopefully somehow AEW can evolve and Tony Khan takes those suggestions on board and actually listens and bring in proper people who can book long-term storylines for him.
Yeah. I mean, competition makes everyone better, and pro wrestling is more popular than ever. Yeah. AEW's made a big splash. They definitely made WWE step their game up. TNA is rocking right now. Tommy Dreamer is over there killing it at TNA. They're doing sold-out shows, so it's very exciting right now. So pick your game up.
Yeah.
Step up. Be honest with yourself. You made mistakes and pick your game up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of my favorite moments from your time in AEW was on an episode of, I believe it was Dynamite. I could be wrong. It might have been the other show. at the time. But I remember watching it on ITV4 over here in England, because of course we used to get the shows 48 hours after they were filmed in America. I was a traditional. I like to watch it on terrestrial TV to keep ITV in the money. And I remember seeing you knocking out a referee on one episode, which I thought was great because I think he deserved your knockout punch. But was that part of the plan? Was that part of what was going to happen, or was that something you just did on the fly?
No, that's actually what I got fired from AEW for. That was a real reaction. He fucked up the match, and that job. No, I'm kidding. It was planned. It was planned. It was very cool with the MMA background that we could kind of like play on whether that was real or not, and it was a left hand too. I'm right-handed, so it was just like a quick little one, and AEW was doing some cool shit. They were doing like. I don't know. It was a cool moment. One of my favorite AEW moments was when I wrote a poem for my fellow Inner Circle brethren.
I remember that. Yeah, that was good.
That's Jake Hager right there. Yeah. That poem that encompasses all of me.
Got ya. Jamie has put a question to you. He wants to know in our YouTube chat. He says, "Do you still keep in touch with the guys from WWE? And if so, who?"
Mike Chioda lives next to me in Tampa. Ron Killings, one of my best friends, and man, how talented is that guy? He's so talented. I talk with the Usos every now and then. I talked with Primo and Epico frequently. Yeah, they were traveling buddies of mine. It's funny, like we're all living this, we're all doing this thing called life, and when we're together, we're very close in each other's lives, and then when we leave, like we kind of go away a little bit, but like you could pick up the phone and it would be like nothing happened.
Yeah, old times, isn't it? When you get to speak to somebody who you're not supposed to for a while, it's like you just never left.
What's that?
I was just saying that when you pick up the phone to somebody, you never leave, do you? Once you start talking to someone you've spoke 5 years ago, but it seemed like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and when like we spent so much time together, so we really get to know each other. And when you get to know someone on that level, like Ron has seen me smile, Ron has seen me cry, I've seen him cry. Like we've been through the ups and the downs together. Like that shit doesn't go.
No. Do you still keep in contact with your friend, Chris Jericho?
Yeah, Chris lives in Tampa too. So still in contact. We got, we still have a group chat with all the JAS boys that we're regular in. I can't tell you the contents of this group chat, but it's a
bit too rude. Yeah, too rude for this chat.
We just talk shit about House of Black.
Yeah, don't blame you. I would be in there agreeing with everything you guys said about the House of Black, but yeah, don't blame you there. Talk to me about your goals then. Have you got any goals for this year, Jake? Any plans to do anything major this year?
Yeah, I have goals. Most of them are outside of sports entertainment right now. I'm retired from MMA. I'm semi-retired from pro wrestling. I'm trying to stay in as long as I can. But my kids are 9 and 13, so I want to be home. I want to hit that super dad button every day. I want to be the soccer coach, the baseball coach, all that. So I want to be super dad. Number one is my goal. And then I'm starting a shipping company right now. So I'm buying a couple semi trucks and getting contracts and just working on other stuff. I got my life insurance license in the state of Florida so I can help other pro wrestlers financially plan for retirement. I think if there's one stigma about pro wrestling is the retirement issue. And so look, LFR, let's fucking retire, right? So, I believe this day and age, you need like 7 jobs, and then make them all passive income. But I got my class a D&G license in Florida, so I could be an armed security guard, do bodyguard shit. Yeah, I'll be John Wick, Kevin Costner. Call me Whitney. But I'm just like, I have the opportunity right now to find something I love and do it for the rest of my life. So I'm trying to be really proactive, figuring out what that is, which is tough because like this is the moment that I've been scared of all my career. Is like, what do I do when pro wrestling is done? And I don't want to be Mickey Rourke. I don't want to be the rest. That was my biggest fear throughout my career. So hopefully I can help others, and we'll figure it out together.
Yeah, great film, by the way.
I'm sorry.
That's a great film you brought up. I watched that. I got on DVD upstairs.
Great film. Great film. Very, very, very true.
Yeah.
Very, very real. So it's kind of like in pro wrestling, the best promos have some realism to it. So.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
You got to have like that underlying hatred, like Seth Rollins and CM Punk.
Yeah. Which side are you on, by the way, of Seth Rollins and CM Punk? Whose side are you taking?
I'm definitely not on Punk's side.
Good. We're both in agreement. I love it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That guy. No, I think Seth is great. I think he's very entertaining. I always enjoyed working on him. Him and Becky are a power couple. Good for them. I love to see Seth in this current mode because when I was at WWE, it was a different Seth. It was a little more conservative, a little bit more confined, and now he's kind of like really leaned into pro wrestling, I feel like.
Well, that's because there's no more Vince McMahon around, is there? That's why. You're fired! Is that a good impression, by the way?
Very good. Made me laugh.
Yeah, there you go. I can't do that anymore because he's not around. You can't, I can't do that as much as now. I used to do it all the time. You're fired.
Did you see that April Fool's meme on the internet where he bought TNA?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Honestly, that'd be kind of interesting.
It would because apparently he is opening up a TV studio or something in California. Apparently, I don't know how true that is, but I keep hearing all these rumors that he's going to make his version of the Monday Night Wars or something. I don't know how true that is. Apparently, he's going to open up his own wrestling company. Who knows what he's going to do next?
Honestly, like my friend and I, who's a former WWE writer, we have written like a biopic about him, and this was like 10 years ago. And now his story, like Vince always wins. That's what Jericho always told me. And I mean, he may have lost the battle, but who knows? Who knows how it's going to end? I'm not condoning anything he did or may have done. I don't know. I was not there at the time, but his story is like an HBO drama. It's like Sopranos meets Ascension.
Yeah.
It's like Sopranos, Game of Thrones, all mixed into one. Succession. Excuse me. Sorry, Ascension. Who am I not? But, dude, like I would watch that. Everything, all the backstage stuff. Quite the life.
It is, and I guess what's the one difference between Vince McMahon and Tony Khan then? Is there a difference between the two people, when they're running their own companies?
Man, I don't want to compare the two, but on a certain level, when you're like Tony's not a billionaire, his dad's a billionaire.
Yeah. He did like that question, so he got off. He got off quickly as he could on this channel. I love it. But that was Jake Hager. Is he going to return? I don't know. We'll give him a second or two. He might realise that he got off. I don't know how he did that because his earphone was out. So we shall see here in a moment or so if he does return. But we'll see. He might have got off here because of my. He might have got off because of me. So if he has, then apologies for that to everybody here on the channel. But that was Jake Hager here on the show. Not often I get to say Jake Hager here on the show. Or his phone died. His phone may have died as well. So we'll just see if he does come back. Do bear with me. Yeah, his phone may have died, or he might have lost internet. One or the other has happened. We'll just wait a few more moments, but in the meantime, we will show you this. Oh, not that. That's the wrong page. You don't want to see that. This is the page you want to see. Jake Hager, Spring Slam, May the 3rd in Blackpool, England. You can see him at PCW UK. You can see him there live, in person. It's going to be great. So if you're able to make it to Blackpool, England on May the 3rd, be there or be square to see Jake Hager, We the People, in action there. I think we may have lost him, unfortunately, because I was enjoying that good chat with Jake Hager here on the show. But I guess maybe something about Tony Khan and Vince McMahon upset him. Or something. I hope not, but it's uncertainty that his phone died or his internet connection went off. So apologies to that. If you enjoyed the episode, by the way, make sure to smash the like button, share the video as well. Make sure you share around what our brief conversation we did have with Jake Hager, which lasted over, I want to say, 30 minutes. I want to say. And yeah, it was a pleasure to have him on the show. I'm just free living here. We do got some more exciting guests lined up as well. Maybe Jake Hager might come on for part 2 to finish our interview here this evening, our conversation, our chat. But what a great time it was. We had the real Jake Hager here talking about PCW, talking about England. We talked about Zeb Coulter, Dutch Mantel, a.k.a. We also talked about his favourite moments from his time in both WWE and WrestleMania and with AEW, as well, talking bad about Tony Khan, mentioning the greatest president, Donald Trump, when he was ringside to see Jake Hager at WrestleMania in the past as well. But yeah, I don't think Mr. Hager is coming back. I think his phone has died. It is a shame. So we're going to wrap it up here, I believe. But yeah, to everybody else who has tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It's been a great chat, great conversation. And again, if you enjoyed the episode, smash the like button, share the video around, tell everybody about this video, tell about Jake Hager. Live technology happens. 40 minutes of Jake Hager on this channel. If you're new around here and like my content, I want to see more of my great episodes, because you never know who is going to appear on the show next. So make sure to smash that subscribe button as well. We've got over 301 subscribers. And until the next episode, which will be on Tuesday, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening.